Hello, welcome back. This week we've been talking about the cult known as IUIC, Israel United in Antichrist. So we're going to continue to discuss the fallacy of this cult. So their founder, Nathaniel, and I want to say maybe Malachi, I don't know if he was the founder or not, but anyway, doesn't matter. They say that they are the original descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, but it's interesting to note that the organization of IUIC was not founded until 2003. So let that sink in. All right. They claim that they are a organized nation of people that were scattered during the transatlantic slave trade and the sub-Sahara slave trade. Now, we know, those of us who know our history, we know that all of those things happened centuries after 70 AD, which was the destruction of Jerusalem, which is really, how the nation got scattered. But for the sake of time, let's just keep it moving. So they claim to be descendants from the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, but what happens? So we'll entertain this for a second. What happens when the nation is scattered? Okay, wherever they settle, they usually tend to intermingle or intermix, with other nations. And so in this case, that's exactly what happened. After many centuries of intermingling, intermixing, the original nation is no longer the original nation. They are now a new nation, depending on, where they settle. Americans, we are American. Africans, they are Africans. If you're from Europe, you're European. Just depending on where you settle. Okay, so many times we read in the Bible where the Israelite nation was taken captive, and one may say, okay, well, they always, kind of rebound in a sense after those original scatterings. Yes, that's true, but the one that happened in 70 AD was very significant for many, many different reasons, and I'll explain why. So previously, when the Israelites were taken captive, it was just for a teaching, a punishment in a sense. And God would tell them, after so long, which and we'll just say Daniel, 70 years of that, and then you can come back together and try this again. Okay, and that's what happened. But in this particular scattering, which was the final scattering, God himself said that it was going to destroy Israel for good. And that's exactly what happened. All right. So look at it like this. In 70 AD, this is when the Roman general Titus and Josephus pretty much destroyed Jerusalem. Nothing was left standing. Now, what was so significant about this is that the Jews lost their genealogy records because the towers and temples and everything was destroyed. This is what prevents a Jew today from tracing their ancestry back to a particular Jewish tribe. So nobody today knows, what tribe they may have even descended from. And again, you would probably be such a mixture. You would probably belong to all 12 at this point. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Okay. Anyway, I digress. The temple was destroyed. That was that structure. That was the religious life, for the Jews of that day, gone. All right. And anybody that was not killed was then taken as a slave. Many of them went to the mines in Egypt. Okay. And many of them were sold in slave markets, and they could have gone anywhere. All right. Again, intermingling, intermixing, no longer pure lineage. So nobody can trace their lineage. So back to what I was saying. Matthew 24, if you read that entire chapter, God is going to explain to you what happened, pretty much. But for the sake of time, I'm gonna take us to 14 real quick. God also told us that after the destruction of physical Israel, his new gospel would be preached. And his new gospel says that the new nations, which is all nations, will now be known as spiritual Israel because they're going to come from everywhere. All right. So 14 says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached and in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall come the end. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world. So focus on that because all nations are flowing into the kingdom, and that is the time frame that we are under right now. Now, what you got to think about is this, and I'm just going to leave you, with this thought. Basically, what happened? So as Nathaniel then were saying, what happened to the slaves that came to this land during the transatlantic slave movement and all of that? We are no longer the pure whatever we were before. If you ask a person who is actually born in Africa, okay, and you ask them if African Americans are considered Africans, they will tell you no, because we are a mixture, of races here, and they're absolutely right. And the same with every continent, to be completely honest with you. The reason why we would say Africans is because maybe their percentage is higher, versus like somebody who never left Africa, who was actually born there. Their percentage, is probably higher, but there's still a mixture. They're a mixture of different, races in Africa. Okay. There's not just one race of Africans. They themselves are a intermingled, race. So I really feel like people need to do their research and stop listening to cults. But IUIC is nothing more than New Ageism. That's just all it is to it. Again, they gave birth to themselves in 2003. Okay? This is nothing more than any other cult, where you have one or two people, who come up with the concept, and then people buy into it, and before you know it, it's a full-fledged cult. So I love you, but don't be deceived. Until next time, I got more to say, trust. But until next time, I love you. Bye.